97.3 The Fan.
Hello and welcome into the Skraby Show for November 7th, 2025. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, keeping me company on my Friday night. Last Friday, I was telling a story about Ghost Dave Roberts, how the week has flown by, because I was just thinking about Halloween the other day, and now it's already been a week since Halloween, and hope everybody had a good Halloween. I don't know why I keep talking about Halloween now. It's a week behind me, but hey, we are here on a Friday. We got lots to talk about. We are going to talk about Craig Stammen. I'm going to read some of the YouTube comments we got on our Gwen and Chris overtime video yesterday. And we're going to actually also talk about this whole thing with ESPN and YouTube TV and whether or not ESPN is doing a good thing for themselves. And I'm not so sure that they are doing a good thing for themselves. We'll talk about that. Also, Daily Gripe at the end of the show. But we'll start with Craig Stammen being the manager of the Padres. I know that people are very lukewarm about it, and I can understand that, because I did sit here leading up after the whole Mike Schilt retirement thing. I did sit here leading up saying this is one of the biggest hires in Padres history because of the window that is open now. And I still believe that. And I still think that. I just can't go as far as some other people by already writing it off. Now, I'm not saying that I guarantee he's going to win for the Padres. I definitely hope he does. And I think that he's got a pedigree to win. And when I say that, he has years and years and years and years of major league experience. Everything that I've read, and we heard Joe Musgrove talk about it, everybody really, really respects Craig Stammen. And that's a good thing. You need that. You really do. But I know that the name Craig Stammen kind of came out of nowhere, because I didn't even think about his name once. But we did know there was a mystery person involved in the interviews, and we did know that, well, I thought the mystery person may have been Ryan Flaherty, but it was Craig Stammen. And so that is who is the manager of the Padres going forward. He signed a 3-year deal. I think people know that I'm a pretty positive person. I think people know that I am optimistic about sports, because anything can happen in sports. And I don't think the Padres would put themselves in a place to not have a manager that they believe can get the job done. You don't hire a manager that you don't believe is going to be successful. Now, we've seen some managers here in town that have had, less recognizable names, and they haven't worked out. Those guys, though, I don't think have the same pedigree as Craig Stammen. We had Andy Green, and Andy Green played in the major leagues, but he wasn't anyone who played in the major leagues at a high level. He was a guy who contributed to some major league teams, but he wasn't a starter. He was more of the bench player. And then you go to Jace Tingler, and I don't know that Jace Tingler had any professional experience. I know he's been around baseball for a long time. That hire was that hire was surprising. And it didn't work out. And there's part of me that feels bad for Jace Tingler, because he got the job and then 2020 happened. And so that's a hard gig to have, being a first-time manager of a major league team and having to navigate through a COVID season of 60 games. I think that's a pretty difficult ask for someone like Jace Tingler. And then you got, the Padres went in a different direction. They went with Bob Melvin, plenty of major league experience, has won manager of the year multiple times, And so we were thinking, hey, this is it. This is the guy who's going to lead the Padres for the next 10, 15 years. 2 years later, not happening. Bob Melvin was let go. Then we all kind of said the same thing. Mike Schilt is the guy for the job. He is. And so he was hired. We were all pretty excited about that. I think I even said I would have to go back in time and listen, but I think I even said that Mike Schilt was the only choice for the Padres. So you go back to back managers with experience. You go back to back managers who have a winning history, and you go back to back with managers that have recognizable names. Now, Craig Stammen obviously is not that recognizable outside of San Diego because he only played for 2 teams and he was a reliever. So not many fans know who relievers are. But I think when I was looking through the kind of state of managers in baseball, there was one thing that was very, very clear to me. And it's that baseball seemingly as a whole doesn't really value previous managerial experience. And I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure if that's because the front office has more say than ever. I'm not sure if the front office and the manager are working together more than ever. But when you go through and you look at some of the names that were bantied about for other teams, they're all kind of the same type of guy. No experience, some coaching experience, but you hear the names that have come off the board so far this offseason, and you have Tony Vitello with the Giants. You have Derek Shelton with the Twins. You have Albernaz with the Orioles. You have Kurt Suzuki with the Angels. And then you have Blake Butera for the Nationals. And then the Rangers hired Skip Schumacher. But they actually, Chris Young, the GM, told reporters that the club was not going to talk with any candidates outside the organization for that job. So here are some of the names of guys that interviewed for jobs. Orioles ended up with Craig Albernaz. And they apparently, I went to some of the Orioles reporting. Orioles were linked to these guys interviewing for manager position. Scott Service, who's in the Padres organization. Former Mets manager Luis Rojas. Albert Pujols was also in that search. And Cubs bench coach Ryan Flaherty was reportedly under consideration. I don't see any massive names there outside of Albert Pujols. I mean, Scott Service has managerial experience, but there's a reason that the Mariners moved on. I'm not saying that he can't. I'm not saying that he can't be a good manager one day or be a manager again one day, but maybe now is not the right time. The Giants interviewed a bunch of people, including Nick Hundley, who turned it down. But there was also the former Orioles manager, Brandon Hyde. He was interviewed for that. Third base coach for the Royals, Vance Wilson, interviewed for the Giants position. Kurt Suzuki, who was later hired by the Angels, interviewed for the Giants position. So you have, with the Giants, a bunch of guys who don't really have much experience outside. Brandon Hyde has experience, but he was also jettisoned by the Orioles after a pretty terrible start. The Angels, before they hired Kurt Suzuki, they talked to Rocco Baldelli and Brandon Hyde, and both of those guys have manager experience. Former Astros manager Bo Porter, I gotta really say I don't remember Bo Porter being the Astros manager. But so those names don't jump out at you. And then the Nationals, who hired Blake Butera, they interviewed Miguel Cairo, Brandon Hyde, and Craig Albernaz. Those were the only 3 candidates to have that are known to have interviewed for the Nationals job. And Craig Albanaz went on to take the job with the Orioles. So what I'm trying to say here is that maybe the Padres aren't going rogue, and maybe this is actually the way things are done in Major League Baseball. I have to pay attention to the signs that are in front of me. I don't see Joe Madden's name here. I don't see Bruce Bochy's name here. I don't see Brian Snitker. I know he retired. Walt Weiss, he's the coach of the Braves, but he's been there for 8 years. Dwayne says Porter was before A.J. Hinch. Okay. I don't remember, but thank you, Dwayne. What I'm saying here is that baseball's going in a different direction with their manager. And I'm not trying to sit here and tell you, hey, everything's fine. Everything is, smelling roses. I don't even know if that's a phrase. I don't think that's a phrase. But I'm not sitting here saying that. I'm just saying, like, the trend now seems to be new managers without experience. And that's not just the Padres. That is across baseball. So before we go and crush this hire, which I do think that people can have concerns, it's risky. It's very risky. But I don't know that there was a better name out there. And you're going to say, what about Ruben Niebla? He was interviewing for the Padres job as well. I don't know how much he wanted the manager position. We always assume, and I'm not saying that this is the case, but we always assume that these guys want that position. Remember the whole Eric Bieniemy thing when he kept getting passed over for jobs and he couldn't become a head coach? And then he came out and said later, like, yeah, sure, I would be a head coach, but I like what I'm doing. Maybe that was his way of coping with not being a head coach. But baseball is moving in a different direction. And so either the Padres are getting on board with that direction, or they're not going rogue, but they're taking a different track. And so after 24 hours of thinking about this and weighing all the pros and cons, I am cautiously optimistic about this. I'm willing to see it through. And the reason being is that even though Craig Stammen doesn't have any coaching experience at the major league level, he did put in a ton of time as a player. And I do think that means something. He knows how things work. He knows the players. He was in the organization. And this is kind of like the new way of getting a manager job, is you become a special assistant. You become the special assistant to the general manager. You learn under the general manager. You find out the ins and outs of the business of baseball and the roster construction of baseball. And Kurt Suzuki was one of those guys. This is now how you get that job, it seems like, for the most part, out of the guys that we talked about. Guys that are being trained by the general manager and hire and execs himself. I saw, let's see. Clinton says, hey, Clinton. Stammen was probably being trained for management with the team for a while. Maybe they wanted to wait until Schilt was gone, but this was always going to happen. It could be that. I mean, I won't say it's not. It still kind of shocks me that Craig Stammen is the manager of the Padres, but it is what it is, and we have to move forward. And again, I'm going to be cautiously optimistic about it because that's all I can do. I said this the other day when I went through rehab. One of the reasons I drank so much was because I was always thinking about the what ifs, the things that didn't happen. I was so concerned with, why didn't this happen? instead of being concerned with, dealing with the reality. And so, although this is a very, lower level thing, it's still the reality is that Craig Stammen is the manager. Brandon says, okay, so fair question. If pitching struggles, are we blaming Ruben or Stammen? That's why I didn't like the move. Pitching is something I wouldn't mess with. I think that's a fair question. You know what? Let me think about that in the break, Brandon. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about that. Also, there's some other comments, and then I'll read some of the YouTube comments. Because, again, I understand that people are concerned about this. I do. I'm not saying that I'm sitting here thinking, hey, this is the best hire. Slam dunk. But I am sitting here saying, I'm going to give it a shot. Because that's all we can really do. And I'm going to hope for the best. And again, I'm going to trust the team. You heard Joe Musgrove. He said he's a fan of this. And so if the players like it and it works, then everything's going to be fine. Trevor makes a great point before I go to break. I know Ruben knew what Mike Schilt went through and didn't want to put up with it. That's a very insightful thought. I that could be a reason. We don't know how Ruben Niebla feels. But I will answer. Oh man, we just got another good comment. Craig says from Facebook, I think he was hired because there is a chance of a strike. Now that's a conspiracy. A conscrabacy that I can wrap my mind around. But he's also signed for 3 years. So even after the strike, he'll probably be manager. Hopefully they don't have a strike. Let's not even put that into the universe. I'll answer Brandon's question when we get back. Also, I'll tell you all the ways you can watch and listen. And I will read some of those YouTube comments and torture myself when we get back here on the Skraby Show, 97.3 The Fan.
Think Verizon, the best 5G network, is expensive? Think again. Bring in your AT&T or T-Mobile bill to a Verizon store today, and we'll give you a better deal. Now, what to do with your unwanted bills? Ever seen an origami version of the kissing statue? Jokes aside, Verizon has the most ways to save on phones and plans where everyone in the family can choose their own plan and save. So bring in your bill to your local San Diego Verizon store today, and we'll give you a better deal. Rankings based on Root Metric True Score per date 1H 2025. Your results may vary. Must provide a postpaid consumer mobile bill dated within the past 45 days. Bill must be in the same name as the person redeeming the deal. Additional terms apply.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in San Diego. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 0000466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
Hey, it's Better Woods here, reminding you that San Diego's best place to play cards is also its closest. 7 Mile Casino offers Texas Hold'em poker, California-style blackjack, Pai Gow poker, and baccarat.
Make sure you get in on the weekend for their award-winning brunch from Sammy's.
It's so easy to get to. You don't have to drive into the East County. Just head down the 5 freeway to Chula Vista, get off Bay Boulevard right there on San Diego Bay. It's our place. Make it yours. 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than Saquon Barkley, the NFL's reigning leading rusher. I'm also the NFL's leading husher. Hey, shh.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
Fishing is back on The Fan. Let's Talk Hookup has returned to 97.3 The Fan, Saturday 7 to 8 a.m. and Sunday 7 to 9 a.m. Get all the latest fishing info. Let's Talk Hookup weekends on 97.3 The Fan. This program is sponsored and produced by Let's Talk Hookup. The opinions and offers expressed are not those of Odyssey Incorporated, nor 97.3 The Fan.
You could think you found your dream home online. The kitchen island looks perfect for your inner chef. The backyard, a paradise for your green thumb. And that extra room, hello walk-in closet. But here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. And this sound, yeah, you're going to be hearing a lot of that. Don't let your dream home turn into a nightmare. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger, Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy place every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Hello, Crushers. It's your host, DJ Divine, telling you that Candy Crush music season is here. Tasty. Conquer levels to mix your own track and win sweet rewards. Divine. Now let's swipe to the next track. Take it away, Thundercat. Candy Crush music season. Play now. From November 3rd to December 7th, selected players level 36 plus. Terms apply. See in-game. Optional in-game purchases.
Hey, it's Brian Baldwin here. Makita knows that pros never settle. Get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. When you shop Makita at the Home Depot, these tools don't just meet expectations, they redefine them. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly designed to deliver precision job after job. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best, available at the Home Depot. How pros get more done.
Matt Skraby, back here with you on a Friday night. Talking Craig Stammen as the manager of the Padres. It's kind of weird to say that, but it is. It's true. It's very true. You can watch the show if you want to on Facebook. Just go to 97.3 The Fan. Also on YouTube, 97.3 The Fan, The Skraby Show on YouTube. Please go and subscribe. I need some more subscribers because then I can do more cool things on YouTube. So it's youtube.com/@symbol, the @ symbol. At the Skraby Show, SKRAB as in boy, Y. Go there and subscribe. Also, you can watch on Twitch, 97.3 The Fan, and new 97.3 The Fan SD's Twitter account has been verified now. So that account is now broadcasting live. So you can go there, 97.3 The Fan SD on Twitter. Got a couple comments here from people I wanted to read real quick because there's some good stuff. Brandon said first, okay, so fair question. If pitching struggles, are we blaming Ruben or Stammen? That's why I didn't like the move. Pitching is something I wouldn't mess with. Well, if Ruben is still in the mix, which I believe he is because I believe he's under contract, then he will be the pitching coach unless he decides to leave or something. So in that case, I think you blame the manager because that's what happens when things don't go well. You blame the manager. Craig Stammen has accepted the role of being a guy who is going to take the brunt of the criticism when things don't go well. He knows that. That's another thing. He's a player. He knows that. He's done the media thing over his career. So that to me is where I think he's going to be pretty good. And that would be handling the media. I don't think that he's going to be angry. Sorry, I was watching the football game and a referee was running down the sideline and he tripped and fell. Sorry, that was really funny. I'm distracted today. But Craig Stammen is going to have to take that flack from everyone. So when you say pitching is struggling, you go with the manager. Katrina says it feels like a Mustang in the military. Enlisted becomes officer, but brings that root level knowledge and experience, which often makes them a better leader. I appreciate that comment as well, because I do think that baseball nowadays is baseball nowadays is all about handling, as a manager, I should say, handling the media and motivating your players. I mean, I can't think of, like, in football, you design the plays, you call the plays. Baseball, for the most part, I mean, the manager does put them in the right spot, but the manager doesn't do. I mean, I'm not trying to say that the manager job is easy, but the manager doesn't do as much as other coaches, I guess. But they will. I mean, Craig Stammen knows how to use a bullpen. He was a part of a bullpen for a long time. So he knows the nuances. He knows what to look for out there. He knows which guys are. He just has that intuition as being a guy who pitched in a major league bullpen for over, was it 15 years? I don't know that he, what am I trying to say here? I don't know that he is not set up for success here. That's what I'm trying to say. 13 years. Sorry, 13 years. 6 with the Padres, 7 with the Nationals. So I know that people are very angry about this, and let me get to the chat real quick. Or not the chat, the YouTube. Which this was funny. So we put this up on Gwynn and Chris Overtime, which is our off-air show on the Gwynn and Chris YouTube at Gwynn and Chris SD. And someone wrote, after listening to this, Chris has more experience than Stammen on standing up to the umpires. And Chris got ejected from a softball game the other day, so that's why he's saying that. And now here's some of the other comments that I think are funny. This channel and people can't criticize Padres signing and decision cause they also a yes man for the team. I'm not a yes man. Never been a yes man. Let's see. This one's slightly funny. The first part of it. They could have hired my gardener, and 97.3 The Fan would spin it positively. This is AJ hiring yes man, period. Sad day as a Padres fans. Oh, well. Oh, we'll have another one in 1 to 2 years anyway. Hopefully AJ leaves with this one. Another person wrote, Padres changed manager like the clothes on their uniforms. So I'm not really sure what that was talking about. I get what they're trying to say, but that was not the way to type it. So people aren't happy. And I get it. I get it. But there were no big names out there. Johnny, who was there for the ejection, Mr. Ello was so mad. I didn't even get to pitch to him. Yeah, Chris has a little bit of a temper with the whole softball thing. But Craig Stammen is going to have to prove to everyone he could do this. And that's no different from Blake Butera. No different from Craig Albernaz. It's no different from any of those other guys. Brandon says Albert Pujols was a big name. He was a big name. But I had been reading, and I don't know this to be true, but he wanted a lot of control over his staff from the reports that I read. He wanted to bring in his own pitching coach. He wanted to bring in his own bench coach, which is usually what happens. But Albert Pujols has no experience. So can he really be calling those shots? Can he really be like, hey, I know that I've never managed a major league game in my life, But I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. Maybe that's just not the way that the Padres wanted to go. And I know that there are people out there screaming at me like, yeah, that's not the way they wanted to go because they wanted a yes man. And talking to the organization and people in the organization, like, I don't think that if AJ Preller wanted to be the manager, maybe he would just be the manager. And seeing how different front offices work around baseball, it seems to be a pretty coexisting relationship between a manager and a GM. Again, I said this earlier. I don't think I just don't. I'm going to be cautiously optimistic about it, but it is risky. It's risky. There's no denying that. And I think that the Padres knew when they made the decision to put Craig Stammen in charge that it was risky. So I don't think that's lost on anyone. And by the way, this team wants to win a World Series. I guess some Padres fans out there that I'm seeing on Twitter and different social media, they're like, oh, this team, AJ is just an egomaniac and he just wanted his guy and then we're going to be fired. I don't think that's true. And also, when people call me a shill for the team, it's not true. I don't ever talk to the team outside of booking players for Friar Friday. I mean, I go down and I talk to people in the clubhouse, but I'm not like being told to say certain things. I'm giving you my honest opinion, and my honest opinion is that I'm cautiously optimistic about it. Dominic, from what I know about Stammen from a distance, he does not seem like a yes man at all. Yes men usually don't command the type of respect he has amongst his peers. Oscar says, guys, Dave Roberts had no managerial experience. Neither did Tommy Lasorda. And I hate to kind of backpedal on the whole thing of me. I hate to backpedal saying, oh, well, it doesn't really matter that they don't have managerial experience. But I guess I kind of am backpedaling. I'm backpedaling with the knowledge that everyone else in baseball is kind of doing the same thing. Everyone else in baseball is hiring unknown candidates. So maybe we're just maybe the Padres are at the forefront of something new. I have no idea. Mott says hiring from within keeps costs low and knowledge of the team high. Win-win. I don't even think it's about the money. Managers don't make that much money. Trevor says, we fired the Brewers' great manager. I actually asked someone about this. I said, why did they let him go? And apparently, I mean, this was a long time ago. And then he went on to do some more stuff. But the person I talked to said they didn't think they would be, Pat Murphy would be ready. Steven says, I mean, managers need to start sometime without experience. Yeah, they do. I think this is so shocking to a lot of us because we're used to a type of manager that we've had forever. The hard-nosed old guy, really, who's been around baseball his entire life, who, dresses up in their little uniform. I mean, all of them dress up in uniforms. But I think what's wrong with having a first-time manager? What's wrong with that is the unknown. That is what's wrong with having a first-time manager. But you're going to have an unknown for anyone, really. Mike Schilt, he had a pedigree of winning, but he was still kind of an unknown. So, I'm sorry to the Padres fans that are upset about this. I'm sorry to the guys and gals who said they're not going to watch the Padres anymore. Give it a chance. And then we could revisit down the road. If things aren't working out, you could throw it in my face, even though I didn't really sit here and stand on a soapbox and say, this is going to absolutely 1,000,000,000% work. All right. Got to go to break. On the other side, I did have something I really, really wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah. I wanted to talk about the Nippon Professional Baseball. Munetaka Murakami. He's going to be posted. Padres, according to Fox Sports, lead the way in odds. So we'll talk about that when we get back on the Skraby Show, 97.3 The Fan.
Quinn and Chris on the Fan.
This is probably one of the longest running beds in the system. I gotta see how long ago I put this in there because it's been playing forever. It happened on April 21st. Wow. This has been playing on the show since July 30th, 2020. That's kind of crazy, I gotta say. Thank you for going through that journey with me. I'm Matt Skraby. This is the Skraby Show. It's 97.3 The Fan. I still have a daily gripe to go, but I would like to stop down and recognize what Alex Vesia of the Dodgers posted earlier today. And we all know that he left the team right before the World Series, and he needed to be with his wife and his family. And we now know that's because he lost his daughter, and his daughter was very young, like I believe newborn. So that's where life comes in, and that's where I draw my hatred of the Dodgers. I draw a line right there because this is more than baseball. This is more than the Dodgers versus the Padres. This is a very sad thing, and I can't even imagine having that happen. I mean, he was supposed to be at the World Series doing something that would be a memory for a lifetime for him, but instead, unfortunately, life threw this at him, and they're going to have to move forward. It's very sad. It's just something that I don't even really want to think about because it's that terrible. I knew someone in college who had, lost a child, and they were thinking about it all the time. So I just think everybody should, think good things for Alex Vesia. It's pretty terrible thing that happened. And he put it on Instagram if people would like to go see that post and see what he wrote. But it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. There's no real way to move on from that. So I will, a good way to move on from that. So I will just move on in a way where we talk now about baseball. Japanese home run king Murakami available to all teams. He is 25 years old. He owns the single season home run record for a Japanese player in Nippon professional baseball. He hit 56 in 2022. That broke Sada. I'm struggling with this name. Sadaharu O's record of 55, which was set in 1964. So he did something that hadn't happened in a very, very, very long time. He has 246 home runs over his 8 seasons in Japan. Now, here's the thing. He is a very good hitter. And I'm assuming he's a good defender because he plays third base, he plays first base as well. So immediately when I think, are the Padres going to go after this guy? This is a little bit different than the Roki Sasaki thing because Roki left MPB early. I believe you have to be 25 years old or somewhere right around there to be able to sign as a free agent with the team. So instead of having the international money, like Roki Sasaki, where he could make $8 million and that was it, Murakami is going to make a lot of money. He's looking at making 9 figures, and I've seen some of the figures being over $200 million. Here's another thing about Japan baseball that, teams have to weigh in. They have to pay a transfer fee, transfer fee to the Japanese team, 20% for the first $25 million, 17.5% for the next $25 million that they give them, an additional 15% on every dollar above $50 million. So if he makes $200 million, let's say, the ESPN article, because I'm not good at math, said the posting fee for him, which is what the team will have to pay, is at least $16.9 million. So $16.9 million just to have the right to sign him. And then you got the big money contract that he has. So it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to invest in Murakami. I don't know that this is the best route for the Padres. I don't know that this is what they need right now. And we're all concerned about the manager. I think we should be more concerned about the roster right now. Now, the roster's eventually going to be fine. We do this every single year. We say, oh, man, the roster's not complete. The roster's not complete. And then it becomes complete. But Ramon Laureano's coming back. And so you got that left fielder. You got your center fielder in Jackson Merrill. You got your right fielder in Fernando Tatis Jr. You got your third baseman, Manny Machado. You got your shortstop, Xander Bogaerts. You got your second baseman, Jake Cronenworth. You do not have a first baseman. So what I think in Murakami does play first base, but I don't think this is the best way for them to go. I don't think paying 9 figures for him is the best way to go. I think the best way to go is re-sign Ryan O'Hearn and have him play first. And he could also DH when he needs to. But I definitely think that Ryan O'Hearn is the better option than Murakami. Now, I will say this. I really, really, really hope that he does not sign with the Dodgers. Really, really, really hope he does not sign with the Dodgers. But this is not just the only Japanese baseball star coming over. There's a lot more. And ESPN has a really good article that outlines everything that is happening with the players posting and trying to come over to baseball. This all happens pretty quick too. He's got a 45-day window to sign that starts at 8 a.m. Eastern on Saturday, and then it expires at 5 p.m. on December 22nd. So if he doesn't sign with the team, I believe that means he has to stay in the Japanese Baseball League if he doesn't sign in that period of time. So we'll hear news about this. We'll follow it. But I just don't think this is the right way for the Padres to go at all. All right. Skraby Show, 97.3 The Fan. Daily Gripe is coming up. Now we get to the silly, stupid stories. And this one is I don't like it, but I also like it at the same time. So Kentucky quarterback Zach Calzada had to apologize today for sending a video to someone on social media in which he bragged about the amount of NIL money he has received from Kentucky this season. So apparently someone, a hater, got into his DMs and criticized his play this season. And so Calzada, the quarterback for Kentucky, tells the fan, quote, "Hey, what you need to do, Garrett, is your bleep needs to stop hating and go get you some money. But since you ain't got nothing, you go ahead and you can count mine. Let's count." And in the video, he fanned a bunch of $100 bills. And he said, "Don't lose count, straight hundreds." And apparently the team didn't like this. Apparently the school didn't like this. Now I understand why they didn't like this. But if you're going to pay the players, who cares what he does? I don't understand why he's in trouble for this. I don't understand why he had to apologize for this. He was just getting back at a hater, number one. Number two, maybe not my style, maybe not your style, but I don't think that he should have had to apologize for this. We're now apologizing to haters? What? We're now apologizing to people who send social media messages to people we don't know? Maybe there's more to this. Maybe I just don't know that he does this often. But this is the first time I've ever heard of Zach Calzada. And I don't know that he should have. I really don't know. I don't think that he should have been in trouble for this. Yeah, again, it's not my favorite thing. It's not the thing that I would have done. But as a person who gets hater messages sometimes, it would be fun to do something like this. I just don't have $100 bills lying around at all. I couldn't fan my $100 bills either because I don't have enough $100 bills. So I thought this story was kind of funny because you are paying the guy, but you're also mad at him for flaunting to a hater. I don't understand.
What's annoying Skraby today? Let's find out. It's time for the Daily Gripe.
Abby on the chat also has a nice addition to the Murakami situation. I failed to mention this. Murakami strikes out a lot. So Abby said he's going to have a 35% K rate, which would be insane. Like, that would be insane. But yeah, I'm just not a fan. I don't think that the Murakami thing is going to happen, and I don't think it's the right fit for the Padres. All right. Daily Gripe today. We got this new system at work. And we got this. It's like for podcasting. So we changed the way we're doing podcasting. Before I had to go to the website, I had to download everything. I had to put it all together. Now it's a little bit easier. But I've had the same password for that other podcasting system for the entire time that I've been here. So it's just ingrained in my head. That when I go and try to type in my podcast password, I use the old one. Well, I had to change it to this long one that has ats and exclamation points and underscores and blah, 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 blah. It's ridiculous. I hate having to learn a bunch of passwords. All right, that's it for me tonight. On Monday, we will be back with you. We'll have another Gwen and Chris overtime. We'll lead you up to Monday Night Football. We'll talk about SDFC, hopefully. They are moving on into the playoffs. Marcelo Balboa was on the show, Gwen and Chris, at 2:40. So if you want to hear more conversation about SDFC, Marcelo Balboa broke everything down. He was great. You can go to our podcast. You can go to our YouTube. Thank you to everybody for being with me, and I hope you have a great, safe weekend.
Hey, it's Ben and Woods, and we're not just a radio show. We call our listeners Tier 1s, and we're a community of mostly like-minded San Diegans.
The welcome mat is out for everyone. Join us weekdays from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I'm PJ Glasser, host of Send It In, here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM network. The Detroit Lions are an 8-point favorite on the road against the Commanders on Sunday. The Lions are 12-0 straight up and against the spread in their last 12 games coming off a loss. This is a revenge game for the Lions as well after the Commanders beat them in the playoffs last season. Washington will also be without their quarterback, Jaden Daniels. All signs point to Detroit in this one. Lay the 8 points. I'm PJ Glasser, host of